All right, welcome into PrizePicks on 5 here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick in the 5 Reasons Sports. We've got David Ebersol. You can follow David W. Ebersol. And wearing the PrizePicks shirt, we got our guy David Friedman. You can follow him at Taco Bout Sports. So we're going to be doing some NFL props leading up to Week 1. We will do another episode specifically on the Thursday night game and also on the Dolphins game as more of those props start to get up there. Tua is up there, 230. I believe 230 and a half yards, right? So that's where Tua is at on the board right now. But we're going to get to some others. We'll start with you, Mr. Ebersol. What are some of your prized picks of the week?
Well, I know it's a little bit early and a lot of guys that still aren't on the board. So I was looking at some individual matchups in terms of the quarterback position. And one that was kind of interesting to me was actually Baker Mayfield in Week 1 gets to play against the Browns. And I have him over a half an interception. I just think in that game he might press one. They're obviously going to know him pretty well on that side of the ball. So I think in the first week he's going to be a little jittery too and really wanting to kind of prove himself. And I see him forcing at least one or two into coverage. So I'm going to take him over half an INT in Week 1.
Yeah, that seems like an awful low number there. By the way, you mentioned 0.5. We forgot to mention 5, F-I-V-E. That, again, is the code that you should use. If you use that code when you sign up and you make your deposit, they will match whatever you deposit up to $100. So it could be up to $100 of free money. You don't need to spend it all at once. And this isn't a whole, rollover thing that takes forever. They're actually giving you money to play. So, again, when you download PrizePicks on the Google Play Store or the App Store, PrizePicks.com, make sure you're using the code 5, F-I-V-E, when you sign up. Mr. Friedman, what is your prize pick this week?
Yeah, I was happy to pop on there, look at my picks, and I saw I still had like $50 on there from basketball. So it's nice to have some extra to spend along the way. I'm gonna go Thursday night for right now. I'll go Josh Allen over. I think it was 317.5 on passing and rushing yards. I think he could get 317.5 just on the passing yards in that game. But I mean, if he rushes for 50, 60 yards, obviously it's a guarantee lock basically there for him. The Rams defense, as much as they have Aaron Donald and they're a good defense, we saw them give up points and yards last year. I don't think that's crazy to think that he can go over that number pretty easily.
Yeah, you would think, again, 40 or 50 rushing yards, you're only looking to need to pass 260 or so to get over there. So Josh Allen over on the Thursday night game. I'm going to look at another quarterback in the AFC, Justin Herbert. I think regardless of whether or not you think he's the next one, I think that it's pretty clear that the Chargers are going to lean heavily on him this year. I think there's going to be pretty much most games he's going to clear 300 yards, even if there are a few mistakes in there. I think the number this week was 280.5, and you can see there he didn't go over on 3 of the last 5 there. That's one of the cool things about PrizePicks too, is you can look at the last 5. But I'm still going to go over here in the opener. Again, I feel like there's a big build of momentum here in terms of Herbert kind of being next. And I just think the way that the Chargers are set up here, even though, they're going to have somewhat of a running game, I still think this is going to be mostly about him, Keenan Allen, and the others. So I'm going to go over with Herbert on 280.5. David, is there anything else on the board here that jumps out?
Well, obviously you have the free square as well with Tom Brady. I know you've seen us promoting that, and it's good to pair these free squares with something you really feel solid about. I mean, it's basically they're just giving you half of what you need. But I was also looking at the quarterbacks, and I went back to the Dolphins game, interestingly enough, and I think Mac Jones goes over half an INT. I know he has the dynamic Devontae Parker out there, so we're gonna have to watch out, but obviously, Miami's going to be pretty familiar with what he likes to do and where he wants to get the football. And I could see a few scenarios where they're going to either be behind or just the conditions going to be hot, and that front seven of the Dolphins, is going to be in his face a lot. So I think Jones gets at least one picked off on Sunday.
All right, I'm with you on that one too. I think they're going to have to open it up a little bit more because I can see them getting behind in this game, and so I think that's where the picks will come. And obviously, even with the Dolphins a little thin in the secondary right now, expecting X to get one in this game is probably not expecting too much. Freeman, your last one here?
I like the Baker one. The Mac one, I like it in theory. It's just I don't know how safe they go in that sense, just against that offense of the Dolphins I haven't seen in a while, which is where I'm going with this. Tua, I like the number on yardage, honestly, just because like he could do the same thing, but I'm going to stay with the completions. I think it was 21 and a half, 20 and a half, something like that. I'm going to go over that. I think like they're going to do that consistently all year where he's going to get a bunch of easy completions. Yak. I mean, I could see him completing 25 or more passes just, depending, especially against that defense, right? I mean, Belichick defense, they have to kind of find different spots than they would against a lot of other teams. I think he'll clear that number pretty easily.
I like that too. My concern again is them getting ahead early and then getting conservative, but it's not like they're going to pound the ball. Even though I know McDaniel is trying to establish this running game, I still feel like it's going to be, like you said, a lot of their like running game is going to be short completions essentially, and using the backside of the backfield. So I do like that over. I'm trying to remember my last one. Eversole, what was my last one here?
You had Kamara over
That's right.
61 and a half rushing yards.
Yeah, the Saints are interesting to me because that roster is actually still pretty damn good, but the questions, about consistency at quarterback are going to remain. I do think, though, that they're going to lean heavily on Kamara early in the season. We do know he's gotten banged up as time has gone on. But, again, you see he went under that number for the last 5. So we're all kind of going counter to what guys have been doing lately. But, again, it's going back to last season. I'm going to go over on Kamara on rushing yards. There were some others. Derrick Henry at 99.5 was kind of interesting to me. But I don't like playing numbers necessarily where you have to go over 100. So I'm going to go over Kamara. I'm going to go over on Herbert. We will be back for the Thursday night stuff, which will be more of the Thursday night picks. And as the Dolphins picks come up, and make sure you're using that code. It's FIVE for 5. Get your initial deposit matched up to $100. Thanks, guys.